All right, let's move on to study time. 皆さん、日本語を勉強します。はーい。よし。Kanji drills. We're gonna do some kanji drills with Genki 1, where we left off. Nobody knows. Here we go. I believe we were up to here. Let's see. The last words was aruite, on foot. I think that was the last one, wasn't it? And moving on to the next set. Let's see here. Oh, no. We still got a couple of more here. And then we move on to the next set.
Thank you for the follow and welcome to the channel.
Arigato gozaimasu, 111CJ. Arigato, irashaimase. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the channel. Hi. So, this next set of words here is at page 233, and then we're gonna head on over to the next vocabulary on page. Where is this here? Wait. What page is this? Nope, we're fine. Page 274, and I believe that's the last one. Yep. So we're about to enter into the last set before we go into Genki 2's vocabulary and get down with the kanji. Benan-san! Irashaimase! Long time no see. Genki desu ka, Benan-san? Genki desu. Yosh. We're about to start off the Japanese drills, starting with the kanji, 10 kanji a week. So let's get moving. So this here is okay under other expressions. Dono gurai. So you would chain this with these sets of words here. Love studying along. Hi, irashaimase. We all learning together. That's the whole point. We all want to learn Japanese because Japanese is awesome. Japanese is awesome. And then we see the Japanese Lego set running around. Nihongo ga sugoi. All right. So let's start off with. Yes, they did. They did. Animal Crossing Legos. Though I'm a little disappointed they're not digital like Super Mario ones. Donogurai shukan. So just to help with the context here, I'm going to push this down so that it's understood what's going on here. Donogurai, which is entirely in kana. Okay, gonna do it like that. All right, but neat, true but neat. So, gurai means how much or how long. So, the way that they had this set up is that you would attach gurai with these words here. So we're gonna start with shukan. Okay, which means 4 weeks. So that's it. So this is how much. Oh. How much? And So, どのぐらい週間 For how many weeks? For how long? Alright, and we're gonna follow that up down here. Okay, so that's what this whole row is gonna dedicate to, is that part. どのぐらい どのぐらい Oh, and I almost forgot about this. Shukan. Shu and kan. Okay, shukan. So let me know, everybody, how's your Japanese coming along at on your end? What level are you guys on? How much do you know? Kangetsu. Consider yourself still a beginner? Back on your weekly classes grind? Kagetsu. This means 4 months. Kagetsu. Sugoi, Venom-san. Oh! CJ-san. Hi. いらっしゃい。いらっしゃいませ。日本語へようこそ。You're going to love Japanese. You're gonna love Japanese. Oh. This is nen. And we don't mean nen as in Hunter x Hunter, where you have the mystical auras and channeling power. We are talking year. Nen is year. Year. Here we go. So you would say, どのぐらいnen? どのぐらいnen? How many years? How many years? Okay. And our last kanji here. Our last kanji is go. And it's not giving me the correct one, huh? No, that's not the correct kanji. I'm gonna have to pull up Jisho. Go. Let's see here. Here we go. Very fascinating. According to Jisho, go means after, but these guys here say this means in time. Oh no, sorry, they do say after. They did put after here. It says in time and after. Threw me off. Woo. But yes, that's what go means, after. Plus. In time. Here we go. Alright. As for me, I've been at this for years. I started in the early 2000s, but then life issues, quality of life, hindered me from continuing on studying. And it wasn't until a few years ago I got back into the game. And thankfully, you know, all the years of submersing myself into the Japanese culture, I was able to get a good handle. This time I got a little bit more smarter than when I was younger. You know, wisdom kicked in, and that's when I started picking up books like Mizuki Shigeru no Yokai Hon and the Tsubasa Bunko books. And now I expanded into Japanese language manga. But, so yeah, I'm kind of way ahead of a lot of people, Chainsaw Man, right now. Like, I'm probably on season 3 for all I know. Let's see here. Alright. Let's see. Alright, page 256. Alright, this is the last group of vocabulary. Wait a second, is this the last group? Oh. Yeah, here we are. So this is the last group of vocabulary before moving to Genki 2. Alright. So we're going to start off with Gaikoku. Gaikoku. Gaikoku is foreign country. Gaikoku. Okay. There we go. Alright, let me just double check here. Sometimes when it comes to kanji, the kunyomi and the unyomis never line up properly. Let me see here. Okay, got it. So this kanji here is gai. Let me put that in English. Gai. And this is koku. Koku. Okay. 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 Next up is kawa. Kawa, which is river. So normally you will hear last names with kawa in it, and usually their names would carry the kanji for river. Kawa, river. There we go. Then our favorite anime spot, onsen. Every anime fan's favorite Japanese spot, onsen. The hot spring. And it's been 20 years since I went to Japan. I really miss being there. I would love to get back to Japan and see what's changed. 20 years ago, there was no such thing as a sky tree. That's how long ago it's been since I went there. All right, this one is Mizumi. Mizumi. This is lake. Mizumi. Mizumi. And that's what you call a lake. Okay. And then here is another word that is commonly used in Japanese names, yama. This kanji. So if you were to see so if we were to see a name like Yamakawa, their name in English would mean mountain river. However, we don't call Mount Fuji Fujiyama. We call him Fujisan. Everyone in Japan calls him Fujisan. There we go. And last but not least, Jinja, which we spoke about in Mizuki Shigeru no Yokai Ehon. That's where we visited and met Baba. Let's see here. It was really lovely visiting Jinja, especially local Jinja, not just the Meiji Shrine, the Meiji Jinja, but the local Shinagawa one. It was such a small little spot too. There was no priest or anything, but they had the instructions on how to pray to the kami of that shrine. It was really, really cool. Jinja Shrine. Alright, so here's our kanji of the week. We have shukan. Well, dogugurai. Shukan. How much? For X weeks. For weeks. For how many weeks? Kagetsu. Kagetsu, which is for months. Or donogurai kagetsu. For months. Nen for year. Donogurai nen. How many years? And after or in time, donogurai go, how much in time or in how much time. And now we got gaikoku, which is foreign country, kawa, which is river, onsen, hot spring spa, mizumi, lake, yama, mountain, and jinja, shrine. Our kanji of the week. Everybody, our kanji of the week. Alright. So, before I get into Genki 2 for our verb drills, I want to address our new learning Japanese student here, JZ. A little something about the particle wa and ga. Let me mark this down on here in the chat room, because this is actually a very, very important thing to learn. But there's always this one problem, and that is they don't explain it very well, except for one guy. Tokini Andy, he has a YouTube channel. I'm not gonna play it on the show. Go to his channel, play his videos, give him the views, because he's very, very good with Japanese. With teaching Japanese, he's very good, and he made a great explanation. Sorry, it's here we go. Sorry, there we go. That's one guy. Sorry, I typed in the wrong letters. Why is the W next to the A? But for you, ZJ, I wanted to give a quick explanation of wa and ga, because you're going to hear this a lot, and people are going to use these two words, topic particle and subject particle. Throw that out the window. It makes zero sense using those terms. What wa and ga does is it emphasizes your sentence. Whatever you're saying, wa and ga is going to emphasize whatever it is that you're going to say. So what wa does, okay, you're going to see this a lot. It's going to say x wa y des. All right, let's bring this out for an example. X wa y des. Okay. So here's x, y, y des. Okay. when you're saying wa, you're emphasizing the y. Okay? The wa part emphasizes the y. Whatever your statement is, you're emphasizing the y. So when you're saying kore wa ramen o tabimasu, you're emphasizing that you're eating the ramen. You say because you're saying I eat this ramen. So when you're saying wa, you're emphasizing the ramen and tabimasu part. Ga, on the other hand, what ga does is it emphasizes the words that come before it. Here we go. X ga y des. Let's give you this here. There we are. So when you see ga emphasizes the words that come before it, before the x, where the x is at. So anything that you put in as x and then you follow it up with ga, you're emphasizing the x part. So when you're saying kore ga ramen o tabimasu, you're basically saying this is ramen I eat. Or I'm not putting in the here's the ramen I eat. I know I'm using terrible sentence structure right now, but the point I'm trying to say is that when you say ga, you're emphasizing all of the words that come before ga. You're basically stressing those words. When you're saying wa, you're stressing the words that comes after it. So that's basically in every sense of the word how wa and ga works. Ga is about the words that come before it, and wa is the words that comes before it. Ga comes before. See that, like you said, it confuses a lot. So let me you know what, I could do it this way. This is gonna be awesome. Let's do it like this. X y y. Okay, let's do it this way. X y dash 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 y des. All right, there we go. There we go. There you go. X y y des, and let's say x ga y des. There we go. Let's make that a nice little graph here. Des. There we go. So that's how it looks like. Wa points to the y, and ga points to the x. So it's gonna take time to practice and learn, because you gotta know what it is that you're trying to what it is that you're trying to say, but what you're trying to emphasize on, and that's the key word that should be used when regarding wa and ga. That it emphasizes what your statement is, and I really feel that it's a very big mistake, especially in good Genki books like Genki, which are really good for referring to them as subject and topic particles rather than saying they're emphasis particles, because that's what they really are. They're emphasis particles. They emphasize whatever it is that you're trying to talk about, and grammatically speaking, there are some words in there. Some sentence structures where you have to use ga no matter what. For example, when you're doing a question statement, you don't say nani wa. You don't say nani wa. You say nani ga, because the ga is emphasizing the what. So when you're saying nani ga kore desu ka, you're saying what is this. You're stressing the nani part, because that's what you're emphasizing. That's what your statement is saying. Whereas if you're just doing a normal, when you want to say something like, and I'll use this example that Tokini Andy went with, and that is kore wa inu desu, which is this is a dog. You're stressing the inu desu part with the wa, as opposed to kore, which is not emphasize. Saying you're still saying this is a dog, but you're emphasizing the dog part. But if you were to say kore ga inu desu, then you're emphasizing the this part. So if you go by this, and I would suggest you write that. If you write that, just note these two things. Wa and ga are emphasis particles. Wa targets all the words after it, and ga emphasize the words before it. No, there is no the emphasis. The formals comes from how you end, the way you end your sentences. Ganwa doesn't dictate formality. It's your polite forms comes from how you inflect at the your final sentences. If you're ending with mas, if you're ending with te or de, and most importantly, how you address certain people, because how you actually should be in my. Let me see here. Let me see if I got my notes in here, because the thing about formality is that it's a hierarchical system. If you can't just talk any old way to just anybody, you have to. Let's see here. This is my photos. Where are my photos at? There we go. Let's see here. Let me see if I got my sensei's notes here. Okay. Let's see. Which is it? Here we go. Yeah, see, now I'll give you a good example. This is a little bit more advanced for you, but I'll give you an example. Okay? This is called communicating with a sense of gratitude. Expressions used by subordinates to people in a higher position, which is boss, clients, elder, and strangers. You would say, te kudasate. Let's see here. So you would say, you would close out by saying te kudasate. You wouldn't say something like what would be an informal way? Well, we're not exactly learning informal much, but there are informal ways of speaking. But when you're speaking to someone who's of a more higher position of you, you always gotta use something like te kurasate. You can't just along with a light bow. You can't just be like let me see here. Like you can't say so desu ka. There you go. Now that's perfect right there. What Venom-san has here. Arigato and arigato gozaimasu. When you're talking to your superior, you gotta say arigato gozaimasu. You can't say arigato. You can't say just arigato. You gotta say arigato gozaimasu, and you gotta bow. That's formal. But casual be saying arigato. But it depends on your setting. You can't just say arigato anywhere, and everywhere. Right. You don't just say Ohio to your superior. You say Ohayo gozaimasu, and you give a light bow, and he'll bow back, and he'll probably say Ohio to you because he's superior to you. Japanese language really runs on a hierarchical system. You can't just say any old thing to anybody. You have to be very, very polite on the outset, and when they're and usually the recipient will decide how they would want you to address them. That's why if you watch a lot of anime, a lot of the characters are always on a last name basis, and very rarely and you will see over time they'll start going into a first name basis. And usually if you watch like a slice of life, when somebody starts talking the first name basis and a third party notices it, like, oh, are you two close? They're like wondering how close the two characters are when you go on the first name basis. So that's how Japanese really operate with the language. Saying like when you're around family members, you're gonna be totally casual, and if you're surrounded by by friends, you're gonna speak casually. But the second you go to work, you gotta speak politely to your higher ups. and then your coworkers who are of even level with you, you would speak casually, and so on. So you got to be very, 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 very cautious. Very aware. You got to be very aware. One of the things that I'm gonna eventually have to learn is called Keigo Japanese, which is speaking very, very business-like, and it's like a completely different language. Although I'm not sure if I would need to learn it, given that I'm the owner of a company and I would be speaking to an owner on equal terms. But I think for like the introductory part, when we're introducing each other, I'd probably have to do Keigo, and then we would be able to speak on equal terms, owner to owner. But all the Japanese subordinates, if I were to meet any Japanese subordinate, they would have to address me in a polite form. They can't address me on equal terms because I am an owner of a company. So, so in terms of formal, that's something that has to be understood and learned. Basically, with regards to us being foreigners, and it'll be our first time meeting so many Japanese, we would have to be polite. We do need to be a little polite, and they'll return the politeness as well. Before we get into equal speaking terms, let's see here. Now, I do want to give one more little thing to note to you, because you're gonna get overwhelmed, and if you're following books, they're gonna make it sound like you have to really say a full-on sentence like "watashi wa ramen o tabemasu." While that is fine and everything, you don't have to do that. You don't have to do that unless you meet somebody for the first time, and by that I mean the verbs alone are sentences on their own. Basically, they stand alone as their own sentences, as you're about to see here with the verbs, with the verb drills now. So I'll give you a good example, and let's see here. A perfect example would be what you hear a lot in anime, and that is characters that say ikimasho. You don't have to put any words before it. It's just saying ikimasho, and you're saying a whole sentence, which is let's go. So if you say tabemasho, you say let's eat. Yomimasho, let's read. Just one simple sentence like that. Basically the purpose of what Genki does is teach you. They teach you how to speak formally and everything, but it's not entirely necessary in the long run. It depends on what your situation is. It really does depend on your situation, who you're addressing, who you're meeting up with. But you could just as easily say tabete imasu, which means eating, or I'm eating. Let's see here. Or you could say tabete waikemasen, which means you must not eat. So there's a lot of shortcuts to Japanese, because you don't have to say the full-on sentences that Genki is teaching you, but it is important to learn them. It is still important to learn them, but especially since you're in the beginner level, just so you can get used to the entire sentence structure. And I do recommend that you do learn that since you're 3 weeks in. But eventually, as time goes on, you will realize you don't have to say the whole sentence. You could just say tabemasu. You could say taberu. And if you have to specify something, then you could say ramen o tabemasu. And that's sentence enough as it is. Japanese will understand exactly what you're saying. And you don't need to do these long sentences. Just so you could get used to the speaking part. Eventually, you're gonna have to say very, very long sentences, because if you want that conversation, you got to learn all the intricacies and such. But being beginner yourself, start off very easy. Just learn the verbs and speak the verbs out, because they're a sentence unto themselves. All four forms, all four tenses, and all four tenses. Ikimasu, ikimasen, ikimasen deshita, and ikimashita. And and just use that as your sentences when you're speaking. Just that outright, and you're fine. And you'll find at the start, because believe me, Japanese will understand what you're saying. If you just say that. If you try to say something like, let me make it easy. Watashi wa koen o ikimasu. If you say something like that, in the long run, you know, it's a little bit much, because they don't exactly put a lot of emphasis on pronouns in Japanese. They do have pronouns, they just don't stress it a lot, because it's a contextual, because the whole language is context based, and as long as they know what you're talking about, you could get away with just saying ikimasu, and that's it. They know exactly what you're saying. All right, time for the verb drills. So I've been covering the root verbs in this second run of the verb drills, but emphasizing the difference between the verbs that end in ru and verbs with ru that end in u. It's been very elusive. It's been something that eludes me a lot. Not so much elude me. It's something that really messes me up a lot, because I can never tell if toru, which has a ru character at the end, is the same as taberu, which also has a ru at the end. Because verbs like taberu, you could drop the entire ru, as you can see here in the underline, and it becomes tabemasu. Whereas toru, you drop the u part in the ru verb, and it becomes torimasu. So you can't. So the difference between these two is going to be the most challenging of all the verbs. Trying to remember which one is a ru verb like taberu, and an u verb like toru, because you're gonna hear the same exact thing, toru and taberu, and you're gonna think you drop the whole ru, and you end up saying tomas, which you don't want to say, because you're not speaking Spanish, you're speaking Japanese. So, continuing onward, we are going to cover the volitions. I went through in great detail with the passive, causative, and causative passive, as well as the volitions down here. But which you could check out in a previous live stream over on YouTube, which is posted on YouTube. So we're going to cover to omoimasu and to omoteimasu, which is I am, and then teoku, which is in preparation for something. So that's going to be today's verb drills. So let's start with the volition form. With to omoteimasu. Now, our volition form, which is right up here, is tabeyo. Okay, tabeyo. That's make sure we put that there. All right, tabeyo. Actually, I could just copy paste this. Lazy. Here we go. Tabeyo. Alright. So we have tabeyo. And what's going to happen is we're going to, let's see here. Where is it at? All we have to do is just attach tabeyo to to omoimasu. That's it. So it would be tabeyo to omoimasu. So we're going to add, get up here. Oh, I see why. Here we go. Okay. To omoimasu. Okay. Let me just make sure I put that there. To omoimasu. There we go. Imasu. Which is what it's going to look like this. 食べようよと思います。There we go. I don't know why it's oh, I am missing the yo. 食べようとお oh, no wonder. There we go. 食べようと思います。食べとも思います。Here we go. Alright. Here we are. And that means I will eat. I will eat. ラーメンを食べようと思います。I will eat ramen. Okay. So now here's the difference with toru. Toru, which is to take. This is total. There we go. Okay. Total plus と思います. Okay. And this is how it looks like. Totalと思います. Thank you, MS Word. Total と思います. I will take. 本を取ろうと思います. I will take the book. 漫画を取ろうと思います. I will take the manga. So that's how と思います works. So we're gonna move. So we're gonna take a look at this form. I am, which is と思っています or I am. Okay. So the way these two work is basically like your intention. If you have an intention of doing something, you would use the volition forms, and you would use to omoimasu and to omoteimasu. So if you have the intention of doing something, like I intend to take a manga, I intend to eat ramen, you would use this volition form with to omoimasu, which is what the whole idea of volition is. As you can see, the volitional form is let's, as opposed to masho, which also means let's. There's a two different sets of emphasis here. You know, say when you're saying tabe masho, it's like let's do this. Come on, let's do this. But when you're saying let's in the volitional form, you're doing it with true intentions. It's like let's go now. 今食べよう思います。今を食べよう. So be mindful of how you're stressing your words here, because you don't wanna speak with intent if you don't have intent. Alright, so this follows the same exact rule as to omoimasu. You'll say tabe yo to omoteimasu, or I am eating, or I am going to eat. So let's okay, I got it. There we go. Tabe yo to omoteimasu. Here we go. Now, you probably noticed that the te imas, for those of you who've been following along, has the same exact stem ending as up here. Where is it at? Teiru, which is ing. Tabeteimasu, toteimasu. I am eating, I am taking. This one has a little bit more intent, as you can see here, as a volition form. Toro to omote imasu. Toro to omote imasu. I am taking that. Give it to me now.
No, don't take it away from me.
So that's the way volition works. It's just emphasizing that you're going to do things with intent. It's you intend to do things. You're intending to go somewhere. You're intending to see someone. You're intending to hear something. Your intentions. It's very, very strong. So be very, very careful if you're not looking to speak with intent. But very important to speak with intent. If you know you're going to do something with intent. Here we go. All right. And next up, page 76 of Genki 2 is teaku. Teaku. Oh, I got a brain fart. My brain can't think. Uh-oh. That's right. Yeah, oh. Teoku. So, you take the te form of a verb. Like, for example, tabete. 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 There we go. So you take form, tabete, and then you're going to add oku plus oku. There you go. Yeah, sometimes the Genkis can throw you off. Can be a total throw off because they always include the stem when explaining. When they display the word, and you're like, huh? Wait, so is it tabete oku? No, it's not tabete oku. They mean tabete oku. Now, it's very important to understand that ku is a verb form. This is what makes things. This adds more to the trickiness of Japanese, because this is a verb form. The u part. This is an u verb. Let's see here. U verb. Okay, they're all. So u is an u verb. I know, it's crazy, isn't it? It's crazy how verb stems keep extending the way they do with these mas forms. So what would happen is you would say tabete okimasu. You would say tabete okimasu. So it will look like this. Let me show you in English. In English text. Tabete okimasu. There you go. That's what it'll look like. Tabete okimasu. Basically, you're describing an action in preparation for something. So you're saying, I'm preparing to eat. Tabete okimasu. I'm preparing to eat ramen. Ramen o tabete okimasu. I'm preparing to eat ramen. Are you ready to eat ramen? No, hold on. 食べておきます。Oh. 何？箸を箸はああ箸をありない。おお、箸をありないね。はい。どうぞ、箸。よし。ありがとうございます。今はラーメンを食べます。So, here we go. This is how it'll look like in Japanese. Okimasu. Of course, I realized that I never used okimasu in any of that conversation there, so. That's a weird flex. So, what does this mean for toru? Toru, which is totte, is going to follow the same exact rule. Very interesting how sometimes it can change. Like for example, under potential, toru would become toreru, and taberu would be taberareru. Yet here, under te oku, they both retain the same thing, in which nothing changes at the end stem. It still becomes totte okimasu. Totte okimasu. So if you're wondering if there's a past tense or if there are tenses, yes, there is. You can say totte okimasen. Just like that. I am not preparing to take or totte okimashita. So in a sense, and I've been trying to figure this out with my sensei, all my sensei, every one of them. Because these things get turned into mas forms, and there's a whole lot of extended stems, verb stems that do turn into mas forms, if they have past tense and so on. And I'm not exactly getting much of an. I think I'm having a hard time explaining it to them, because some of them don't necessarily work. Having them in past tense, they have to be mandatory in present tense. Unfortunately, I don't have any examples on me at the moment, but make sure to ask your sensei about that every time you come across something like this, like when an extended verb stem like okimas, like oku, that turns into okimas, if there's a past tense to it, and if it could be spoken, so that way you can learn and practice that. Get confirmation. Let me know. All right, so those are our 3 verb drills of the week. Tabeyo to omoimasu, toro to omoimasu, tabeyo to omotte imasu, toro to omotte imasu, tabete okimasu, and totte okimasu. All right. We're almost there. We're nearing the end. Hope you're all having a great time. I'm hoping that this is very helpful. We are all learning. Don't ever hesitate to correct me if I'm wrong. I am still a student, and I'm merely looking to help out fellow Japanese learners out there, because there are some things that we learn, from our end, but others externally might not know or may not have learned, saying, and it's good to share this information to help improve ourselves and get better and build conversations, because we love Japanese. We wouldn't be doing it if we didn't love Japanese. I love Japanese. Do you love Japanese? Give me a like if you love Japanese. Because of course you love Japanese, or else you wouldn't be learning Japanese here. Arigato, arigato. Spread the word, learn together. Because this is a never-ending battle. It is a never-ending battle, especially the kanji. You're like, Sherby. All right, so closing out with you obsessed with Japanese stuff? We all are obsessed with Japanese stuff. If you're learning Japanese, you're obsessed. We're coming to the toughest book that my school has delivered upon us, the intermediate Japanese. An integrated approach to intermediate Japanese. So we're dealing with some level 10 stuff here, ZJ, just so you know. Okay. And this book, I really am not a big fan of. Most of my classmates aren't. Even my sensei's like, huh? Because unlike Genki, they don't go into great detail with the technical stuff of what they teach in this book in terms of the sentences and expression. And the things that they do, it's usually so brief. It's so brief that it's very difficult to comprehend. You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't teach comprehension properly. There we go. So, we are in page 76, section 11. This is wakede wa nai. It does not mean that, or it does not follow that. Okay. So basically, it's kind of like, well, basically it's negating another person's statement. When somebody tells you, if someone tells you, Lord of the Rings is a metaphor for a communist dystopian existential geopolitical strife, you could sit there and say it does not mean that, and that's what this phrase means. Wakete wa nai. It does not mean that, or it does not follow that. The perfect example. So normally, so this actually comes to the end of the sentence. From what I'm seeing here. Let's see here. It's pretty, see, like I said, this is such a weird book, because they're saying that it's, wakete, wa nai. Yeah, at the end of the sentence it says, wakete wa arimasen. So it's not being clear as to, it's not being very clear why it does that, and this is why I don't like this book. But gotta follow through with what Sensei has been provided. Even Sensei's like scratching her head on that. So it's unfortunate that this book is really that terrible, quite honestly. Those of you comment about that. Please don't hesitate to comment below on what you think of that, of this book, this integrated approach to intermediate Japanese. Let's see, and maybe even explain why wakede wa nai turns into wakede wa arimasen, because it doesn't make sense, and the book doesn't explain that. It's just telling us what it is. Doesn't give us the how or the why. So, if I'm reading this correctly, apparently it follows. I believe it follows a verb from what I'm reading here, and then you put wakete wa arimasen. Let's see. Ego ga dekinai wakete wa arimasen. Okay, here's how the whole sentence works. Amari eiga o hanashi masen ga eiga ga dekinai wakete wa arimasen. I hate to copy out of this book because I'd rather write it on my own. But if I'm reading this correctly, if I want to put it in the context of Japanese, I would say amari nihongo. Amari nihongo o hanashi hanashi masenga hanashi masenga masenga Nihongo de dekinai, which is coming from demas, dekiru. Is it dekiru? Dekimasu. So it's dekinai. Dekinai wake de wake de wa arimasen. There we go. So I'm just put a spin on the sample here. Rather than saying I don't speak English much, but that does not mean I can't speak it. I don't speak Japanese much, but that doesn't mean I don't speak it. So it does use the it does translate into it does not mean, but it's just weird, that they're saying wake wa nai when they're using the past tense arimasen to connect it. It's very weird. It's very weird because they're not explaining how that works. So let's move on to the next section on page 76, number 12, which is verb naide sumu. Let's see here. So you got to use the negative form of te. The negative form of te, followed by sumu, which means that you can get by without doing the verb. So if you were to say, let's see here. Kawanai de sumimashita. So the mu form, this is a verb form again. This is mu, which is a verb form. So it goes at the end of it could go at the end of the sentence, or else you'll have to use this form if it's in the middle of a sentence. But if it's at the end of the sentence, again, it's got the tenses, all of the tenses. So it would look something like saying ikanai, ikanai. Here's ikanai. Ikanai de sumu. Ikanai de sumi mashita. There we go. So that's how it looked like. Ikanai de sumimashita. So it's kind of like saying sumimasen, only it's got a kanji for su. So it'll be ikanai de sumimashita, ikanai de sumimasen, ikanai de sumimasu, ikanai sumimasen deshita. But again, this book emphasizes the past tense, which is sumimashita. So that's how that would work. So let's put in a full sentence here. Okay. Let's say Nihongo. Nihongo no manga. Nihongo no manga. Let's see. Nihongo no manga. Oh. Yeah, see, that's the other thing. Oh, okay, it does use oh. Okay. Nihongo no manga o yominai. Yominai de sumimashita. There we go. There we go. So I get by without reading Japanese manga. That sounds a little weird, but that sounds a little weird, but I think you kind of get what I'm saying. I could get by without reading Japanese manga. Yeah, that's a little weird. It sounds much better here. Let's say koen. Where's the kanji for koen? I think that's it. Koen o. Koen o. There we go. Koen o ikanai de sumimashita. I can get by without going to the park. There we go. I think that sounds a little better. Actually, that's incorrect. It should be ni. Sorry, because it's ikimasu. Koen ni ikanai de sumimashita. There we go. That's proper. There we go. I can get by without going to the bar. All right. And now our last sentence. Zutsu, each or at a time. So zutsu is used after numbers. That's this is actually very critical. Numbers is like one of the toughest things in Japanese because it's so much. Saying got itsu, totsu, futsu, mutsu, yotsu. I can't remember beyond that. But then you have the specific counters for specific things, people, animals, and so on. It gets crazy. What happened to just saying one dog, two dogs, two elephants? I've got to be a completely different set of words. All right, so let's see here. Zutsu is used after a number, usually a counter number, or a limited quantity, and that it's distributed, each time. So it's like basically we're saying, you give it to them two each. Give two each to these people. Saying two each. Give two ramen each to the kids. Two manga each to the anime fans. That's basically what we're just saying. We're saying it like that, but so we just gotta make sure we follow it up with a number, and that's let's see here, and it's counter form. So this one is a little let's see here. So, like for one good example that they have here is skoshi. Skoshi tsutsu. Oh, how convenient. Here we go. Skoshi tsutsu. Even a little. Or little by little. Skoshi tsutsu. Let's see here. Gotsu? Gotsu. Then you have gotsu. Let's see. I don't see the kanji for this. Oh, no. Let me push this back here. Save myself the headache. And get the kanji for go. So, gotsu. Zuzu. Hold on, let me just do Zutsu. Okay. So just to copy off from how they have it, I'll just keep it short. Kanji. Okay, we have kanji. Where is it? All right. Kanji. O. Gotsu. Zutsu. So that's that means 5 kanji each. Oh, still doesn't. Copy that. Paste. There we go. That's how it looked like. 5 kanji each. Kanji o gotsu tsuzu. If you can say that 5 times fast. Kanji o tsutsu. So that's how it would work for the most part with the zutsu. But it has to be, you have to be able to apply the counter to it. You can't just say, I wonder if you could get away with saying hitotsu tsutsu. I mean, it says gotsu tsutsu, which is kind of weird. But, let me see something. No. Let me see chisho.org. Let's take a quick look at that. Let me pull it. Let me see here. Gotsu tsutsu. Alright, yeah, gotsu is 5. Okay. Alright. So yeah, that's how they want to work that out. Oh no. I am so sorry. Here we go. Dang it. No one said anything. No. I'm always screwing up. I'm sorry about that. What happened is I forgot to switch over to the sentence drill word page. So the entire screen showed only the verb drill word page while I was writing out all these sentences. Oh. So, everything I said, nobody's gonna know what I'm talking about. To quote the famous JoJo, oh no! Oh my god! There's only one thing to do. The JoJo family secret. JoJo family secret technique. Alright. So, あまり日本語を話しませんが、日本語でできないわけではありません. This whole sentence here means that even though I can speak Japanese, even though I don't speak much Japanese, doesn't mean I can't speak it. So that's what wakete wa nai means on page 76-11. Then verb naide sumu, which is one manages or gets by without doing the verb. We have koen ni ikanai de sumimashita, which means I can get by without going to the park. Or I could say, if I'm saying it correctly, Nihongo no manga o yominai de sumimashita. Then next up is zutsu, which is saying each or at a time, similar to saying give two bowls of ramen each to each kid. You could say skoshi tsutsu, which is a little at a time, or gotsutsu, which you can say kanji o gotsutsu, gotsutsu. So that's how these three sentences work. Hopefully, everybody was able to follow everything I said. Okay. Sorry about that. This was from An Integrated Approach to Intermediate Japanese. Alright. And that is our Japanese studies for the week. Here we are. 皆さん、ありがとうございます。ありがとうございます。I hope this was helpful for everybody learning Japanese. Feel free to comment if I made any mistakes, corrections, or additions, expansions, or anything that I could learn from in Japanese. That can help me out as well to expand my speaking capabilities. We are all here to learn. Thank you very much for everybody. Arigatou gozaimasu.